Okay, here we go. Let me start this. It always takes me a second here. Where's the share button? Share screen. Okay. All right. I would like to start first by acknowledging the lands, the cultures of the Muwekma, Choqueño, and Ohlone people. My name is Dan Harrison. I'm going to be doing my presentation on Curanderismo. I also would like to state that I have been practicing the pronunciations of many of these words, and I guarantee I will mess up, but I will keep trying. It is in no way intentional. So I will keep moving forward and seeing what I can do. All right, so curanderismo is a very diverse and ancient holistic style of folk medicine that utilizes a collaborative array of spirituality, faith, prayer, and sacred use of herbs and massage and other traditional methods of healing to alleviate an assortment of physical and physiological ailments. The knowledge and traditions were passed down through generations. The term curanderos can be traced back to the Spanish colonization of Latin America. Curanderos in this part of the world are the result of the mixture of this traditional indigenous medicinal practices and also Catholic rituals. But there were also an influence from African rituals brought to Latin America by slaves. Curandero or curandera comes from the root curar in Spanish, which translates to cure. Thus, a curandera or curandero is one who heals. It goes beyond Western medicine and it links illness with evil spirits. This extends a curanderos or curanderas duties to cover not just the physical ailments, but also the psychological and interpersonal issues. So, two types that I'd like to just discuss are the sobadero and the urbero. And again, the sobadero focuses on massage and body work, where the urbero focuses on the use of plants and other natural fibers to help cleanse with using these materials. This is a really fun, fascinating portion of the presentation, and also one of the hardest three words for me to pronounce. Tonal or Teolia and Aihohit, I don't think I got that right, are the three sacred life energies that make up the Mesoamerican concept of the soul. And this is the primary focus that curanderos dedicate their efforts towards. So I really like this picture. It shows these different areas, Tonal, Teolia, and Ayohit. Ayohit. So Tonal is one of those sacred life energies. The ancient Nahuatl people believed that it was located in the hair and in the fontanel area of the skull, and that the tonal provided the vigor and energy for growth and development. Um, it overlaps with the force of Toilia, which was often considered both an animating force in the physical heart in the Mesoamerican culture. I really enjoyed how the professor highlighted that tonal can be found in hair, in the head, and the face, and that feathers can absorb tonal, and that fire contains high levels of tonal. Animal skin can also contain tonal. When someone has low levels of tonal, this would lead to ailments. And remedy for this can be found in the sun, which is made up of fire. Therefore, it contains enormous amounts of nourishing tonal. Historical and present beliefs promote that exposure to sun can enrich your soul and level up your amounts of tonal. Tayol is a source of life energy. It is located in the heart and is a source of vitality. It was attributed to the source of knowledge, tendency, affections, passions, memory, and will. The Aztecs believed that after death, that Taolia was the part of the man that separated, or woman, that separated from the body and remained immortal. The Taolia remained some days on the surface of the earth to be carried afterwards to one of the many different destinations in which Aztecs believed. The final destination of the To'olia was determined by every person's way of dead. The To'olia of the warriors, for example, was carried to the sun realm, where they turned into beautiful birds. I find that pretty fascinating. Ahohit, Ihiot, Ihiot, Ihiot. I'm going to keep trying. Is another source of life energy. The Ihiot is the animating force that resides within the liver. It is inherently gaseous and luminescent and odorous in nature. Unlike the other spiritual or animating forces, the Ihiot cannot leave and re-enter the body during life and will only depart the body in death. Again, I find this really fascinating. Curanderismo focuses on the treatment of ailments associated in these realms. And described as susto is a condition of chronic somatic suffering stemming from trauma, right? From witnessing traumatic experiences lived by others. Susto is classified as a culture-bound syndrome, a symptom that occurs and is recognized within an ethnic group. And also limpia, let's talk about limpia, is the ritual or act of cleansing, right? That's limpia. It's a Mexican spiritual cleansing ritual. It cleanses the body, emotions, mind, and soul from these negative energies or thoughts. Traditionally, it's used to get rid of blockages. Some people believe that it removes witchcraft and curses and hexes. And then after Olympia, we may feel light and peaceful and happy. It is also used to attract happiness, love, health, abundance, work. I really find this fascinating, and this website that I took this information from, the Institute of Shamanism and Curanderismo, is a great resource. This effective cleansing is embodied in the society. We talked a lot about sweeping. That's something that the professor talked a lot about. And in this limpia, that's that act of cleansing the environment to get rid of dirt, but also to alleviate the bad energy. So curanderismo is very commonly used. It's a supplemental medical care, but although in isolated regions, curanderos are usually kind of the preferred or maybe even the only preferred option for care. The historical and cultural definitions I've kind of gone through, but broadly defined, it's a set of health beliefs and practices derived from ethnic and historical traditions, right? Their goal is the cure of the psychological and spiritual and physical problems, right? These health beliefs are based on notions that healing is an art that includes culturally appropriate methods of treatment delivered by these recognized healers or these shamans, right, that are in communities. And they capitalize on a patient's faith, and they capitalize on their belief system in the treatment in these processes. So it's a very interesting aspect here. So as this course is based on oral traditions, these traditions are passed down, and we must consider how are they being changed, right? It's how this course is kind of, the fibers are. How is this oral tradition modified or implemented or augmented in ways? But most importantly, are these traditions being lost? Are they being dismissed? So while collecting research with this assignment, very organically and kind of in a unique way, I came across this great journal, pardon me, I'm thinking of a journalistic travel, right? So it's a piece that it was discussing an epidemic in Mexico regarding the consumption of sugary drinks and the inability to get potable or clean drinking water, and how these levels of diabetes is just skyrocketing in Mexico and all throughout Central and South America. So I found this video, and in it, there's this portion that is fascinating. So I'd like you to watch it with me.
I'm leaving San Cristobal and heading out to some of the remote indigenous communities in Chiapas. In the 90s, this territory was seized and held by Marxist rebels. I'm on my way to San Andres La Raizar. It's an indigenous town 1 hour away from San Cristobal de las Casas. And once it was the stronghold of the Zapatista National Liberation Army, is today in communities like that, the Coca-Cola is king. I've been told the local shamans have been using Coca-Cola as part of their religious ceremonies. Señora María, ¿cómo está? Mucho gusto. Maria is a practicing shaman. Today, she's treating this man for diabetes. The ceremony is a mixture of Catholicism, mysticism, and involves animal sacrifice.
Maria Sillarora, Cuchabocol, Secabocol, Santa Maria, Cajual, Justo Ves, Chabuenda Bene Malgeneleto, Chabuenda Bene Malgenele, Cajual Sacometa, Betsacomet, Cushetic Mecahualti Uni, Bectaleto, Cushetic Mecahualti Uneta, Kepalecahual.
But what I find incredible is how she's using Coca-Cola.
Echan me. Altas Kuchike, Tasikuchas Lucas, Chamele di Cuchagelone.
Look at this, right next to the shrine. Maria's own well-stocked Coke fridge. She says she sells about 50 crates a month. Why do you think there is so many people with diabetes here?
Alich Ibahik the Asakal Chamele, Hakuchal Javin, Tataskak Alcondik, to fetch a problematic, Pusha Chobolkadik Chabatak in tea, Chabal Cup del tea, Muyukusi Oikudi, Hadidakadik Oli Chamel Ketchela.
Do you think there are a lot of people with diabetes here because they have sugar drinks?
Chalik. Ali Boneta was a total 50 años, 51 hasta 51. Ali Master she looked at Elvan here. Scotch, all caja, li resto de hood to scotch, cerveza, pollo, stekel, Pemoyukusi saco hood.
It's dangerous advice. Diabetics need to cut down on their sugar intake. I'm a bit shocked after that ceremony. I've participated in many indigenous rituals in this part of the world, and I've never seen sugar drinks being offered to the gods. Here, to sell Coca-Cola gives you status in the community. Clearly, sugar drinks are engraved in the culture here.
Right. So that particular piece was so amazing. We had an opportunity to see a curandera performing these traditional methods, accompanied with this modern kind of, pardon me, here we go. Kind of bringing these traditional methods into the present and future. And, what are these implications? So this is a clear example of how this historical representation of curanderismo has taken on this modern day twist. The concept or the duality has been a key pillar in this coursework, right? Talking about duality. And the concept of duality seems to resonate within the realm of the Mesoamerican culture, as well as this concept of curanderismo. The journalist asked the curandera why she thinks so many people are sick with diabetes. And she responds that the source of the diabetes is due to anger and family issues, right? So deep psychological issues that when you yell or get angry with one another, that action turns into diabetes. It's fascinating. A fascinating discussion for me. And it clearly highlights how this historical tradition of curanderismo is kind of coming into context of this modern day implications of diabetes. It's this clear example of duality. And the curandera directly relates the source of the diabetes as being spiritual, right? Or metaphysical cause, as opposed to the scientific or the biological cause, right? Consumption of sugary items in your diet, right? Diabetes. It's just fascinating to me. So we live in this great time of great opportunities regarding transportation, right? Not just transportation of, the ability to transport ourselves physically around the world within hours, right? although there's this ability to transport written, verbal, and historical context using this digital domain. It reaches a global audience within seconds. So, how can these technological advancements provide a catalyst to carry this curanderismo narrative, right? Because we've learned in this course, oral tradition plays a vital role in carrying this message. It's essential for the tradition sustainability. So, is there a duality between carrying on the concepts of curanderismo, kind of like joining the past and the future? I find this extremely fascinating as plant based medicines, the use of psilocybin and other ayahuasca, DMT, salvia, other very intense, highly medicinal plants are being used to treat PTSD, depression, anxiety, an assortment of ailments. And to me, it's like this duality of the ancient curanderismo traditions are coming into this modern context. So, in these images, to me, it's like sharing the past with the present, obviously, and the future. I found there's actually a terrific process taking place right now where a group of psychologists are getting together with curanderos and they are documenting these historical implications. I'm not going to read this whole piece here, but I will post all this information. To me, this is fascinating that um, there is this cohesion, right? In this duality, there's this cohesion with not losing this traditional context and how we can preserve this and move it forward into this modern realm. In conclusion, I would like to offer this theory that through direct acknowledgement and sharing of this generational knowledge, the tradition of curanderismo is in fact evolving, but the historical tradition is also being curated with this extensive effort. These efforts will allow the continuation of this generational knowledge and perhaps, allow for a partnership with the past, the present, and the future. That is my presentation. I have enjoyed learning about this topic. I'm actually seeking out a curandera to perform some ceremonies with me. I'm going to be dedicating time and energy to this, and I look forward to learning more about it. So, thank you very much. That is my presentation, and I hope you all have a beautiful day.